Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome. It's Brenda Schweder here to sahuaritacasita. It's good to see you. I have been probably not ever better prepared for this. I've been on the phone all day, on the phone and on chats, but it's all for you guys, and I just love it. Well, for me too, because I like being with you guys. So anyway, how are you guys? I'm going to add some comments here and just see how everybody is. Streaming far and wide here from StreamYard, and I forgot, that's the one thing I wasn't prepared for. I'm going to write a note to make sure you guys know how to add yourselves to StreamYard. And so that paper doesn't work, but we're going to try this one. StreamYard post. Hopefully I'll know what that means. Hi, Mary Burns. How are you? So good to see you. Oh, my goodness. Anything. I can't. When I'm doing these other overlays and stuff like this, I can't see your comments. So I kind of like want to do this quickly and then go back and see what you're saying. Anyway, welcome. It's a gorgeous Thursday here. I hear that it's warming up in other places of the world, so that's good. We've got things, I think, pretty well under control in Texas. So extra love to all of our Texan buddies and friends. And yeah, so we are here. I've got, look at this. I have got my horizontal overlay here, my horizontal thing. So we're going to be able to see nice and close, and no reverb this time. Perfect audio, I think, unless you tell me differently. I'm getting comments here. Let's better check. Is this the Streamline? Is a StreamYard? StreamYard, yep. Hi, Coral. Good afternoon. It is afternoon here, too. And Trudy is here. Hi. Chicago, pretty close to where I used to live in Milwaukee. Sue DeLay is here. Terry's here. 39 and sunny. Good. Well, we can't really for Wisconsin. We couldn't ask for better than that, but I always liked it, at least when it was sunny there. Even though the snow was botching everything up, right? So much to talk about. We are going to be doing sort of two tutorials in one today. I'm going to be talking to you about ear wires and the anatomy of ear wire. We just, Sarah Hannes and I just refreshed this template. You guys, whenever there's templates, what we do is we do one for non-jig workers here, so you can just get the idea of your spaces and stuff like that, and you can use that. And then there's one for our jig, now that's a jig users. So let's see here. I'm going to put in the chat. I have to go into put that one down and get this one. I'm going to give you my blog landing page in case you guys don't get my let's see here. In case you guys don't get my newsletter, I want you to be able to sign up for that. And when it's time, I'll put some of the links in to get the goodies that we're going to be working with. So, woohoo, look at that all populated. Look at that all populated. All right, it was working for a little bit here. All right, it was. So I'm just going to leave this in case it disconnects. That's kind of the problem here, is I have to have this in. This is all set up, but I got it. I got it, right? I was telling Kristen Fagan this morning, she was kind of talking me through this, and I said, the problem is, here. because I have this husband who knows this. I relied on him. Mic is muted. I'm so sorry, guys. Hi, Ernie. We're having more technical difficulties, even though I worked on this all morning. Okay, the mic is muted there. I've got it muted here. If this is connected, we're supposed to be good. Okay. Let's do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this from the screen. Okay, now it's connected. I don't know why it's not disconnecting. So anyway, we were saying that, let's see if we can add it to the stream again and if it will stay. We were saying that, there it goes again. It might just be that we have to do it the way we did yesterday. Honest to God, I worked on this so. Okay, just go away. Don't you love this? You might just have to do it the way we did last time because it won't stay connected for some reason. And my Bluetooth, plus I see it's down to 17% somehow. Okay. Yeah, there it is again. Okay, we're just going to get rid of this. I'm going to ban it from the studio. How can we just leave? Sorry. Yeah, that's not the alarm. I know you're under here somewhere. Okay. I just turned the whole thing off. There's something to do with this that is not working. Okay. Okay. It's such a beautiful top-down shot. But we did it last week, right? We're going to do it again this week. So that's all there is to it. Apparently I need to spend another couple days working on this, but we're not going to let this get us down, because what we want to do is we want to have a good time together, and I'm going to show you the earrings. Oh, I guess I didn't load those into this part, but I think you guys have been really enjoying. I've been getting a lot of good feedback on these earrings. These are called From the Bottom earrings, and this is what we're going to be doing today after we get done with our little ear wire tutorial here. And aren't those cute? So the cool thing, besides this fancy built-in ear wire here, so we've got kind of a three-fer, I've been saying on the blog, is that we're going to be working with these large hold rondelles. These are Preciosa large hold rondelles, and they look like this, right? Oops. And this is how they look from the side. So a lot of bling all the way around. And, you know, this was something that we would generally, my first thought is, hey, let's put that on some heavier cords, maybe some rubber, some leather, blah, 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 blah. But you know me, I always like to do a little something different. And so I thought, you know, when you're working with these bicones, that is a funny little shape, right? So let me see, we'll get a number 10, a 10 millimeter bicone out, and you can put this on top, and it's going to seat really nicely in there together, right? You can see it's with the clear, it's a little harder to see, but we can see that as well. Maybe if there's a small one. Here's a small one. So I kind of was putzing around with a couple different sizes. And here you can see this a little bit better. Here is the black. This is the jet bicone. And so you can see how we can, depending on what background I have here, if we can see it better, it just seats really nice in there because it's a diamond shape, right? So loving this Preciosa, and God, how can we not just use it and use it and use it? So a couple announcements as I get back into my my usual stuff here that I wanted to tell you about. Coming up, you guys, is another spring, now the Great Bead Extravaganza, and that is happening March 19, 2021. It is coming up really quick. You know that I always take that last slot on Sunday night, so you guys always know where I'm going to be. And real fun is these are all these greatest friends of mine through the Great Bead Extravaganza, and we've got all 17 whole companies here, with me kind of right below Andrew and Joe and Jody and Jamie. I knew that sounded wrong. So those are all of your friends. If you aren't familiar with it, go to the Great Bead Extravaganza Facebook page and sign up in there. As usual, we're going to have all kinds of fabulous things that you can win. We have 3 big prizes. We all contribute 3 things to 3 bags, and we'll be contributing some hammers. Now that's a hammers again to that bag. So make sure you sign up for that and get in on that. The giveaway entry is not up yet, but so this is what we're going to be making next week. I wanted to give you a little bit of a treat on those. Pearls I found are hard to photograph, so here's a little bit better picture of the pearls. I also wanted to talk to you about, I kind of got ahead of myself. So I'm going to be doing my version of the Lady Gaga Dove of Peace brooch, and this will be made with, now that's a hammer, so you can bet that that's going to be really fun. And I'll also be doing another version with bead netting, and so this will be my version again of the Schiaparelli brooch that you can see here, since this is what you guys said you wanted on my blog. So that'll be real fun. Also, I wanted to let you guys know that I'm doing this project. I might have, if you follow the blog and stuff like that, I might have alluded to this in the past. And I've been talking a lot about my young friend Azalea Ogden. But basically what I'm doing is that I am creating this collaboration project where I do a narrative jewelry piece or jewelry sculptural piece, and then another artist in another medium or author or poet will riff on that, or will, I don't know, just be inspired by that and do something similar. So this is an example of Azalea's piece, and you can see here that I commissioned her because of the younger people I would like to encourage and pay. But for some others, it's just the opportunity to be in this book or this project. And so you can see that on the right is the piece that I've done. It's called Pool Noodle Baby Girl. And it's obviously a mixed media piece that I have done with TV tray on the bottom there, blah, blah, blah. A little bit of resin. And that pink thing with the bunny there is actually a drawer pull that I turned into sort of the focal piece for this necklace. And then so this was how Azalea interpreted that piece, and so she made a doll, and it's just been so fabulous to see. I've also worked with Hannah Contreras, that's Heather Power's daughter, and my own nephew Max Dumais. He wrote a piece for it. The gal who did my boys' senior portraits, that's kind of her main gig, and she does pageantry photography, beautiful photography. She went to Vegas and did kind of a riff on one of my Vegas pieces. So what I'm doing is I am opening it up to all of you guys. What I want is people who don't normally do jewelry, okay, or if you do jewelry and you also do another thing, please do let me know. I will put my yes, technology. Oh my gosh. We're not going to go back there though. So I'm just going to put my email here in the chat. And if you're interested in doing something like that, riffing off of one of my pieces, I'd love to hear from you. I'm collecting all kinds of different things. I've got, as I said, writers and poets. An ex-editor, Patrice Lantier, did a haiku for me, and I've got a hat maker and photographers, painters. Stacy Schweder, if you're familiar with her, just signed on with me to do this, and I'm submitting it to Milano Jewelry Week. So that's the plan. So hopefully we'll get in and we'll have our own thing in Milan. I say Milan like I know how I'm saying it, right? So anyway, I did want to tell you that. Also, you guys know that time is ticking away. If you have and would like to donate a piece to the Beads of Courage, let's get up to brand here and we'll get in that. Take that one off and do this one to replace it. Beads of Courage. We're going to be doing an auction in April. I'm still getting the dates for that. And it's just one of those things that we're just not able to connect and confirm that. But especially if you did take one of or get one of the pieces sent to me from my D-stash, that's our latest thing. Please do get those back. You've got a few weeks, and I know that's what's getting some of you guys, because that's what I tend to do, is get things in at the last minute too. Also, another little thing here. This is the kit that's on my Etsy shop that we did for the Great Big Extravaganza last time. And let's see here. I'll put that link in here too. How does that go? www.brendaschwederjewelry. There's just a few of those left, and I thought if you guys wanted them, I just dropped the price down to $12. So if you guys are interested in those, please do kind of grab those. I think only the butterflies are left. I didn't check on it before, but yeah, those are out there if you're interested. So let's get back to this and take that down. Anything else that I have in my announcements here, I kind of gauge by what is going on in my pictures here. No, I think I've got everything. So, you know, what we've been doing is really February has been sort of this big Preciosa week. This is what we did last week. The week before, we did adjustable bangles. And then the week before that, we did our love, infinity love piece. And so this is actually the last week in February. Can you believe it? And so we're going to be moving on to pearls, which is what, as I showed you before, what we're going to be doing next week are these sort of built-in earwire pearls. But there's a little bit of a, not a hack, but an armature underneath there that we're going to teach you how to do too. So that's going to be super, super duper great. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab these. Let's see if I can find it now. Let's get to comments, and I'm going to grab that's not it. Let's get out of there. That down. There we go. I think you can still see me. So these are the links to the craft shop. Copy that, get back to here. I'll get pretty good at this part at least. And we're going to, those are the links to grab some of those pieces. Preciosa is so hot right now. It's like I can't design fast enough. So some of the pieces, not the Rondelles, but I think some of these, I think it's the, let's see, yeah, it's these 8mm bicones are out of. But as usual, if you guys need any help looking for something, I'm going to give you another John Schweder. Yeah. Here is the link to, or just the email that you can actually call them and say, hey, Brenda showed this really great thing. I want to be able to make it. Where can I get these? So that'll be great. Just because they're not on the craft shop that's affiliated with Amazon doesn't mean that you can't get it, right? So, okay, without further ado, let's go. We're going to try to make some ear wires. What I thought I would do first is just kind of talk about the anatomy of the ear wire, right? I mean, you know, it's one thing just to go to buy these as finding someplace, but then you start making your own. You're like, okay, so how, you know, what do I need to do to start making these on my own? And what do I need to know? Well, obviously, they need to work with your body, right? So what I'm doing here is you can see that this is generally this a very easy French wire, right? French wire, but we can get some length on, and you can see here that this very bottom piece here can be of varying lengths, our inner dimensions. So right here, what I've done is that I've got this one going around. It's just an inner dimension of 1/8 inch, which seems like it'd be fine until that seems to seem like you can drive a Mack truck through it. You would be surprised. This is a 1/16, what you can fit in there. You can fit 16 gauge steel through here. No, not 16 gauge. Probably like 18 or 20 gauge. But anyway, be cognizant of that, because sometimes those little things are what's going to make your jewelry look, you know, much more professional, much more svelte. And then it's so funny. Like, here it is. Okay, so and then we can play with this dimension here. All we need really for our earlobe, this is where our earlobe sits, right, is about 1/4 inch, and that is a comfortable, you know, amount to be in your, to be fit in your ear, you know. And if you're working on, which we will be, right, it's generally very bottom of most round nose pliers. Okay, so that's kind of a good, you know, thing to remember there. But if you want something that's got a little bit more, or just a little bit different shape or whatever, or you want to work with something that is a lot different shape, maybe this is a little bit different than that, you can do that as well. For those of you who have the jig, so this is the 1/4 inch peg, right? And this is the equivalent of this guy right here, right at the bottom. This is a little bit bigger, but that's kind of, you can see here about what we're talking about. And when we get to these other shapes with bigger, a little more flair, right? Hey, Kristen, it didn't work. Kristen, trying to work with me. It just, we were, okay, so a little segue here. Kristen and I were talking about how we like everything hardwired in, and everything was working fine, and then the connection, the Bluetooth connection, just kept disconnecting. Okay, anyway, so we have a number of different shapes and sizes for that area, and it just gives, as Kristen said, a little bit more flair. The last one that you saw was done with, this is a peg for the, now that's a jig, with a 1/2 inch oval, okay? But I was looking at some pieces that my friend Annie Pennington, who works for Potter USA, her signature ear wire is something that's got kind of corners at the top. So she kind of likes having them come out of the earlobe, and it has a little bit of corners here. And so you might use something at the top like this. So instead of, right, having these guys here, you might, and this one's just on the diagonal because of the spacing here. I just wanted this to be a little closer. Is maybe you would use something like this. It's so hard. Where's my top-down camera when I need it? It is, and you know what, Kristen? I kept reconnecting it, and it just kept booting back off. So we didn't want to burst everyone's eardrums. So here we are without again. But we will get this. We will get this. I know. So, okay. So I thought what we would do is kind of segue back to making these ear wires. and these fancy built-in earwire. So much fun. And again, the thing that works well with this, are all the gods aligned, right? And all the stars or whatever, is that we have this sort of little dip in the heart between the heart lobes. And then that also kind of really worked with that bicone as well. So absolutely love that. So, kind of move this back here. I think what we're going to do, we're going to get that out of the way. Many cords. We're going to go down here so you can see. And let's see if we can see this a little bit better. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking, right, these are all of the patterns, and if you guys want to grab these, they are at that John Bead Facebook group, which is called, I always have to close my eyes to think about this, it's called Bead Projects and PDFs from John Bead on Facebook, and it's just very easy to go there. All of these are free on there. And if you want the jig version, just go to the Etsy site that posts that link that I've already put up, and that one will be up there as well. All of these, when Sarah puts them up for the week, they're always in the featured area, so they're right there on top. But if you're looking for something from other weeks or whatever, then just go to the patterns and patterns. Now that's jig patterns, or you can grab another John Bead pattern on that segment of the shop. Okay, so also all the written instructions are there, everything for you guys. I didn't do written instructions for the ear wires because I think they're pretty understandable, but if you ever need those, let me know. So what I thought we would do is I made this one version of this red one here. And there's also a couple versions that I thought you could also just do like a plain one. You can kind of see behind here. There's just a very plain little loop or a little dip, or you can make this one here with a little loop-de-loop in the middle. So I like to give you guys a lot of different options so you can see what you like best. So, but I thought first what we would do is just kind of grab and just do this built-in ear wire one. And so you can see how that's done and how to load that on. Now, obviously, what's holding this on, you guys, is this area here. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this part down here first, and we're going to hammer all that, and then we're going to load everything on, and then we're going to actually just hammer that to finish it. So for those of you who haven't been tuning in lately, we've been working with all this fabulous aluminum wire. It's so gorgeous, and it comes in 2 different gauges. We're going to be working with the 18 gauge today, and this is available and through one of those links. Did you have to leave, Leanne, and come back? Yes, the sound is gone. So welcome back, and thank you for your perseverance and patience. All right. So I know here from my pattern that the built-in earwire setup, this one that is right here, is going to need about 7 inches of wire. And so I'm just going to kind of chop that off here. And I'm just going to use this pattern right here to go ahead and do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this tiniest, start off with my round nose pliers. And actually, let's see here. I want to get this trued up here. Okay. There we go. And just make this tiniest of, there's always steel wire around here. Loops with the very tip of your round nose. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep following this along right on the pattern here. And so generally what I do when I like to make a loop is that I would make this like a, I call a lollipop on top, where it's coming centered off. But in this case, to keep it like a P or a Q is going to work for me, because right away it's going to go up and around that, that first lobe of that heart. And I know here that this is a 3/16 actually. So I'm going to kind of like let that kind of mark that on my pliers. I'm going to make that first lobe, and I can always make it a little bit bigger if I need to. Yep, that was my thought, is that that might be a little small, so then just going to go back in there and make it a little bit bigger. And you can always just keep, you know, just keep matching it up to here. The thing about having the jig, now that's a jig, is that all this setup is done, and then you just basically kind of go around here. But if you don't, it's not the end of the world, right? So I'm going to grab my chain nose, because I know I want a really, I'm coming down here to the peak of this heart, and I'm going to just put that exactly where I want that bend, and make that bend right in there. And then you're just going to keep following up and around. If there's another way to do this too, you can kind of get the you know, the rough shape in here. And that's not too bad, right? And then just kind of true it up, kind of finalize it, not with the chain nose. How about we true it up with, yeah, with that great round nose. Nice. And you know what, guys, you can always just kind of go back here and nudge these a little straighter if you want. And if you want your point to be a little crisper, just kind of get back in there with the edge of that chain nose. And your pliers are your friends. Here's where I know I can even kind of go back in here to just kind of getting back in there to mark this, and then bring that all the way back up and around. This one you're going to go all the way around. Like I said, the very smallest part. So you've got kind of this cute little tiny loop-de-loop in there, which is kind of fun too. Especially if you wanted to go ahead and maybe just even, you know, kind of anchor those. You would need to do it with something other than wire though, because this is the type of, I mean, smallest gauge that comes in this aluminum. I'm kind of wanting to go back in here and make that a little nicer. There we go. I'm liking that heart shape. Cute, right? Okay, so this is the point where I usually forget, and I'm so excited to load those beads on that I go ahead and do that, and then I say, oh my gosh. Or I mean, actually just, sorry, I actually just finished the earring, and then I can't get my beads on because we have this big U in here, right? Hi, hello, Sharon. It's so nice to have you here as well. So I'm going to grab my bench block, right? And what I want to do though is bench blocks and hammering aren't always really great for overlapping wire. So I'm going to separate those out for a little bit and go very gently where the wire is overlapping itself. And then I'm also going to harden this area where I know that those beads are going to be underneath. And then I'm going to just kind of put that back into play here. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my first rondelle here. No, I think I'm going to match it up. I'm going to go, because I only have so many beads, I'm going to take that 10 millimeter bicone. Remember, this is all Preciosa, gorgeous stuff. And then I'm going to take, this is the 10 millimeter large hole rondelle, place it on there, and just keep building. Now, if you like, you know, lots of this, we can actually make this one taller, right? You know me, I always like to change things up. Last week it got me in a little bit of trouble. But this one we just did the one in between with the two beautiful pieces. This time we have 3 of the gorgeous pieces and the bicones, and then 2 of the rondelles in between. Okay, so in true form to building this, you know, you're going to want enough room for your ear in there, but fear not, that will work. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of cheat, not really cheating. I'm going to put this as far down as I possibly can and move that all the way around, right? And I'm going to bring this off here for a second. And you can see here what I did here is that I used that same, whoopsie, there it goes, of course. That same little tiny peg in the middle here, that matches my nail polish, and use that to make that jaunty angle. I always like to use as much stuff as possible. So doing the setup is the most important thing. Hi. Things roll. It's all live broadcasting, right? So here we go. Anyway, I'm kind of wanting to make this a little bit bigger because I see that there's not a whole lot of room between. So I'm actually going to see if I can't make that even bigger. There we go. There we go. And then I like having a nice long thing here myself because I don't use those stopper things. And I'm just going to make, and I like to have a lot more chance for that bead or that earring to stay in my ear, right? Okay. Then at this point, you're going to take this back up. Let's see if I can. Thanks, Sharon. And I'm just seeing these comments come in from upside down here. No, the coating doesn't come off. And you can see I'm not really wailing on this either. But it's really a nice enameled coating. But I'm not using, you know, this is a nylon head here. And it's not, you know, sometimes they can get kind of beat up. Okay. Then as kind of I don't know if I've been showing you guys enough of this stuff. If you have a wire rounder, go ahead and use that. Otherwise, just give this a few little taps with your needle file and on the end, so that it's not going to hurt your ear going through. Let's see if I got any of the comments here. Does the hammering help to harden the wire? That's exactly why we're doing it. Thank you for that. Is that especially with this aluminum, we have a really, really soft wire, which is great for working with. It's so easy to form, but you really need to harden this up so that it's good. Look at that flash. That's pretty darn cool. Let's try this. Wondering how well does the wire keep its shape? Does the hammering harden? Pretty much guarantee it will stay that way. Leanne, it does. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. The aluminum is still very soft. It's not like, you know, my steel that I usually work with. But I was surprised at how cool. I mean, if you're especially for earrings, you know, these don't get a whole lot of wear and tear, especially at the 18 gauge. But they're fine, you know. I mean, I wouldn't shove them in my purse. I'd be careful with them and hang them up after you're done. But especially if you kind of want this really fun saturated color. And, you know, aluminum is really, if you're on a budget, stuff is awesome. So you kind of get the idea. And I'm trying to have to, I've got one side that's a little bit different than the other. I could have gone a little bit better with my thing, but you get the idea there. And I like how this little loop-de-loop holds the beads up, you know, so they're not, so they have a little bit of I guess just a little bit of spacing between there. And, you know, and then they're all just sort of sitting up there like a little crystal totem pole. Leah says she needed to wake up. You are a sweetheart. Always, I bet you're one of those people that always looking on the positive side. Okay, so basically, I don't know how much more we really need to do. If we wanted to make this into a head pin, instead of making this built-in ear wire here, you're going to just make that plain loop on top, right? And if you just want the charm, there's your little charm. I would say for the charm, though, we're definitely going to put the 2 loops so that we have something to go on. I will show you here. So this is the one without the loop, right? And it's just a butted joint in here. I'll open it up a little bit for you guys so you can see. So that's just open. So it'll work, you know, and especially in this kind of format here. But if you want to get a little fancier, which I think a lot of us do, that's the way to do it. Hi, Kara. Good to see you. Yes, it is. Thanks, Leon, for that. It is great for asymmetrical studies in earrings. I'm coming up with these goofy words here. So I thought what we would do is actually make an ear wire too, right? And so let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to take this down from here for a second, and we'll make an ear wire so that we can wear this one. And we'll have 2, speaking of asymmetric ear wires, 2. Oh, I put the other one back in. I left the other one out. Old one ear wired Brenda. So let's go ahead down here again. And let's go ahead and make not this big one, because I think we've got some length already here. It always surprises me because I always like longer ear wires, but this would definitely be a shoulder duster, right? If we use this one and then we hook this earring on there, and that might be what you want. But since we've already got some length on here, let's just make this one here, but let's make it with this little tiny loop here, because I want to show you that will fit around this 18 gauge. And so looking here, I know that I need 4 to 6 inch length. I'll put this other earring back on to be able to make that ear wire. And we'll just cut that off. Shoulder dusters. Yep. I think those are really, you know, they kind of come in and out of style, right? But so basically what I've got here is about 1/4 inch in the middle here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about this 4 inch wire, and I'm going to put it at the very back, well, center it, right? And then I'm going to take both of these and come down, okay? There's a lot of different ways to make ear wires, and with this one, again, I'm having this bottom peg do a lot of the work. Okay, so I'm going to come down, and I'm going to try to match it up here. I'm going to do one side at a time. And instead of making this 1/8 inch, which seems like that would be very little, right? We're going to make a tiny, tiny loop at the bottom. I'm just going to mark that here with my plier. And bring that up and around. Glue my plier. And at that same area, I'm just going to make that jaunty angle that I talked about. I love saying that jaunty angle. You guys know, if you watch me for any length of time, that's a Kate Richbury term. And I just think it says it so well that we're just going to use this to create that little bit of an, oopies, oh, I'm surprised it stayed on there. A little bit of an angle right there. I'm going to save my cutting for the you can't cut with a round nose pliers. Here we go. I actually put it back. So I like to have probably about 3/8 of an inch for a lead in, but you know, all this stuff is subject. This is just really so it's the lead to your earring. I think I forgot to say this on the anatomy, is this part that is leading, putting it through your piercing. And then this one, I'm just going to cut where it starts to overlap the other part of the earring. Always careful to put my ends places. I guess when we have little cats and dogs and we just really like having our eyes, you get in the habit of doing that when you're doing wire. And I can see here that I've got a little bit of a dent here that I don't like, so I'm just going to go back and straighten that out a little bit more. And then I'm going to do the hammering. I'm kind of just making it a little bit of a U. So the hammering also makes everything on the same plane. It makes it nice and flat, right? And I always say that the hammering is also what makes it start to look more like an earring than a piece of wire. And again, I'm just going to take and just give that. I like to be very careful with this because you're basically rubbing off the coating, and I don't want to rub too much of that red off, right? I'm just going to take a little brush off. You're basically removing metal material. And so, and if you take off too much of the red, you can just file it down and start again, especially if you have left a nice long sort of lead. And then give it the finger test. You don't want any burrs when you're going through. And then I'm just going to basically open and close this around around this head pin that we made, or the earring part. And actually this is a little one, and I know that I've got more room to work with here, so I'm just going to open and close this guy here, add that one on and close that, and I always give it a little bit of a tester. Okay. Now the other thing is, so this is going to be face front, right? So we can go back up here. So if you were so shocked when you first learned to make their own earrings, jump rings, and other components instead of buying a bag of 10 for $3. Me too. Me too, my love. I was like, what? And then I could make my own shapes. That's the cool thing about that is I could put this on. I put it on wrong, backwards, because I wanted that cute little loop-de-loop on the front. So let's move that. Any of you guys making along with me? Let's open and close this. Put it back on the right way. And then we'll put them both on and see what you think. Super cute. Now the cool thing about this, and even if you wanted to just add a heart charm at the bottom and make this part just just like a link, is that if you like a lot of kinetic movement in your earrings, you can put as many places as you can put a connection that will dangle, will give you more movement, especially if you're going to be working with this cool flash. There it goes. So you can kind of see there's the one that's red, and it will not be hidden with all that flash going on there. It works better if I don't look at it. I can feel it better. I can see with my feeling. So they're a little bit different, lengths, but pretty darn cute, if I do say so myself. I just wasn't done with hearts this month. You know what I mean? It just was like, I just need some more loving. So those are so pretty cute. Now, also what I wanted to mention too is that we've got this face front, and there's always a decision with earrings, right? If you want something face front or oriented to the side, okay? Because you never know how you're going to meet somebody. So if you did want this oriented to the side, you could move this, change this orientation of this jump ring or this loop right here to the side. So I'm holding this, and I'm just going to move one thing and keep the other one. And then that will make that a side wearing earring, right? So you don't see it from the front, but you'll see it from the side. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. Okay. Did I miss anyone's questions? I'm hoping I'm seeing everyone. Let's see. I'll scroll up. Sharon says 18 gauge or 16 are better to work with. So this one is 18 gauge aluminum, which you generally wouldn't get 18 gauge to be an earwire, right? And to be so that's sort of the thing about 18 gauge. And it just depends on, so we couldn't use 16 gauge for this. And sometimes just the difference in is just an aesthetic. I generally tend to like chunkier wire, but not for everything, right? Right. Bench block, great for over. Hi, Leanne. You says you're new. Welcome. Great for overlapping wire. I'm not sure what you're asking there or saying. Yeah, let me see here. So I'm glad you asked that, Coral, because now that's Jig is on sabbatical, right? Until I can get a new distributor, manufacturer, whatever. But I can't believe I forgot to tell you guys this. What I did is I put everything at least at 50% off. There's so little left, but there's some 1/8 inch pegs in there. There's actually pretty many triangles. So go in www.brendaschwederjewelry.etsy.com and grab the rest of those. I'm just clearancing them out until they're gone. So, yeah, lots to memorize there. So I want to just remind you guys, let's see here. Let's see. If you can't find something you need from John Bead, do email them, info@johnbead.com, and they'll do their best to help you find it. As I said, these smaller bicones, the SKU ends with a -17, all sold out in some places, I think on that craft shop. And then for a lot of the now that's jig pattern templates, and for those kits that are on sale, and for the pegs that are on super duper clearance, you want to go to brendaschwederjewelry.etsy.com. And always, if you want to first look at free templates and bead projects and PDFs from John Bead Facebook group. Just a load of them there. Carmi is the marketing director for John Bead, she was saying how unfortunately you can't have photographs in the files, so you're going to have to really pay attention to the names of the things, especially if we get a few weeks down the road and everything starts to get a little bit more buried. But they're all in there. They're all in there for free. So that's the cool part. All right. Let's take that off of there and go back to our comments. Thank you, Kara. I am furiously making the kit ready. I want to make sure that I have the final done before I get the kit ready. But do you want to see the beads? They're over there. I can get them. They're gorgeous for the bead one. So they're going to be a bead version, and there's going to be a metal version, because I just couldn't decide, and I thought, why? So hold on. Oh, they're over here. So I'm crawling around my studio because I'm doing the limbo around cords. And these are all in cellophane. But aren't these great? I have a silver version. I wanted to see how it would work up in silver and gold. So these are iris beads. These are John Bead's Crystal Lane line. So yummy. I don't think we're going to use those tiny ones, but basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you like a little mix, right? Because it'll be fairly intuitive, but you're going to need different sizes to get into different areas. And these are opaque silver or gold iris beads. And this is a rondelle as well. So cool, in different sizes. Here's the big ones. Let me see that. Saw it here first. Since Kara asked, you can all thank Kara. I know, right? All right, my loves. Any other questions? Let me know. You know, I love being with you. And one of these days, see, I'm not a real big tech AirPod person. So once I figure these out, I think I'll have it figured out. Either that or I'm going to have them. I'm just going to have to hardwire everything in. And that's going to be it. We'll figure it out. I know we will. So cool beans, cool beans. All right, you guys, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you're going to have a great day, and we're going to stay away from the cold. Everything's going to be warming up. This is actually one of our most wonderful seasons right here. I was telling someone else that I really don't mind those over 100-degree temps because I just know I'm not shoveling snow. I'm not driving around in it. Oh, yes, they are. And yeah, I'd rather have that and turn the air conditioning on than be in the cold. That's just me, though. So, but wherever you are, so much love to you guys. Guys, thanks for putting up with the audio and the maybe not so great visuals. I know. Love the Mary's match, but are not identical. Loved watching this. Have it saved. Oh, Leanne, you're so sweet. And I think that is one of the cool things about streaming to YouTube too, is that all those are going to be with the pictures right underneath. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. I'm going to stop yapping. I'm going to say goodbye. We'll see you next Thursday. Oh, I just want to show you what we're going to do this next Thursday real quick again. So we're going to be showing a little bit of a threading technique. Again, this is a little bit more of an armature thing that we're just going to be doing actually a wallet stitch to get those beads on there. Aren't they fab? And you can see that you can either do the innie or the outie version, but that's just one continuous piece of wire. And let me see actually if I have Oh, Brenda. Let's get rid of that. Let me see if they're in here to show you the real earrings. Yep. So for instance, here's the real earring. Ta-da, 18 gauge again, you guys. And here is the armature. It's not cut or anything yet, but or hammered or anything, but little loops under there that help hold everything together, but they're hidden once the pearls go in. So, okay, great. Hope to see you back for that, guys. Mwah. I hope that you register for my blog. I'll also just added a new feature on it. It's called This Old Adobe Brick House, and you get to see some of the things. It's getting real interesting around here. At first when we moved in, we had to, update boring things like air systems and electricity and plumbing and stuff like that. Well, now we're going to be doing some remodeling. So I hope you can join us. Mwah. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. Adios.